Hello my dear friends, it's Andrea here. Apologies for the delay. Finally, I'd like to talk about the eclipse on the 8th of November 2022. And in order to analyze the financial markets, I live in Europe, so London would be the closest financial center for me. In any case, I think the observations are in general for a lot of countries, a lot of cities in the world, and we should take this as a valid general direction. If this eclipse tells us something, then it's about splitting, and it's the split of the financial system. If I look at the chart at 8 a.m. in London on November 8th, 2022, I see an ascendant that is quite cluttered in the tropical sign of Scorpio with Venus, Mercury, the Sun and Ketu together, all of them. And Ketu already has a lower degree than all other planets, meaning that it traversed them already. And the moon is with Rahu. It's a lunar eclipse, so we focus on the moon. The moon is in the 7th house of Taurus together with Rahu, meaning that this is basically a point of hope for the masses, because moon would represent the masses in modern astrology. And yes, it has to do with a new financial system. Why I'm saying split? All the planets that are opposite in Scorpio, so I'm talking about Venus, the Sun, Mercury and Ketu, are all in various padas of the constellation of Vishaka, which is about split paths. It's about taking a choice. It's the cross of a road that I think would happen for a lot of people. And we do have Jupiter recently, entering Pisces again at the anoretic degree, 29 degrees in Uttarabhadrapada, which is a constellation that talks about money, also hidden money. So I think it will be a time when a lot of financial scandals are possible because of Scorpio, but also a lot of revealing of various secrets from the past. And yes, in this chart at least, we do have Gemini in the 8th house with Mars retrograde there. So again, a huge focus on financials, but this could also point to the fact that people will not be happy with the evolution of the financial market around this eclipse. So it's a culmination. Now the point is, the drop. Everybody asks about the drop and what do we see. The energy of the eclipse will be really felt long. It is 5 hours and 54 minutes, something like that, almost 6 hours, so it's quite long. And it's about endings, and yes, it could even last, its consequences 6 months. But I still think a bottom would happen really quite soon, and I would rather bet on the period from 30th of October until 8th of November, due to the fact that October 30th Mars would turn retrograde, and yes, Jupiter would also transition into Pisces on 28th, so that is a very, very eventful week. And actually, we do have exact dates for the eclipses, and we know that the eclipses would really have longer effects in time. Therefore, even if eclipse is exact on a certain date, we cannot say that the bottom is there. Usually bottoms are combinations of important major movements, and I think November would be major. Yes, let's see what unfolds. For me, it's important to express this message. I do think on the date of the 8th, it would be less likely to have such big cuts in prices in terms of evolution overall, in my opinion. So it would be rather until the 8th, and it will depend also on each coin, but of course Bitcoin is the king. So 31st of November also looks bad. So I would really see that in that region. Otherwise, 5th, 6th and 7th are also several days with negative aspects overall, not necessarily only Bitcoin specific, but we do have also a square short-term aspect on the 7th for Bitcoin, and on the 8th we have the eclipse. So it's pretty highly possible that we would get the bottom around those days. So I see the beginning, the very 1st of November, suspecting as a bottom, and I would really incline more into it, but the 5th, 7th are also possible. Now, since Mars and Jupiter are both retrograde, it could be that the pace slows down and the price will likely stagnate, drop and really stagnate there. On the other hand, volatility is really promised with the Mars aspect. I think it's a combination of events here which is quite complex. I would say that Mars should take precedence since about Gemini and the markets, but we will need to see because in my opinion, also taking into account the Uranus-Saturn square, which is still operational, we do have a first time view of such planetary combinations since Bitcoin is born. So we do have interesting times. Again, place your bets carefully and minimize losses. If you are risk averse, then it would be good to exit the market in due time. Thank you so much for your attention. See you.